Alright, it's time for a new video. We have the Eternal format tournament from May 2023. This takes place in a base set through Scarlet and Violet format. So this is pre-ban list update for Paldea Evolved, meaning we will see Archeops, we will see Brox Ninetails, but come the next one, if we have a June 2023 tournament, we will not be seeing those because they got banned come the legality of Paldea Evolved. Now, I will point out, for a lot of our players, this is their very first times playing in the Eternal format, so they are a little rusty, to say the least. Rusty is probably not even quite the right word, but they act rusty, if you will. They're reading some of these cards for the first time, they're borrowing decks, they're kind of tweaking decks that they had for Standard to make them legal in Eternal. So do have some mercy on them. A lot of players really enjoyed this format, and I hope that our turnout for June is even better than for May. But I said, let's get jumping into this because this is going to be a fun one. Alright, here we have round one. This is Broxbox versus Lostbox. Broxbox is a toolbox that features Brox Ninetails and has a whole host of attackers that it's able to abuse with the help of Archeops. Similarly, Lostbox, unlike its standard format counterpart, actually doesn't run Comfey, but instead runs Jirachi with Detour, so that it can spam Colress's Experiment both as a supporter and the effect of Detour. Alright, our players are getting shuffled up. The video here is sped up just a little bit to help push the tempo of the game along a little bit. Gave our players a little bit of flexibility, just because a lot of them we're playing these cards for the first time, or we're playing this format for the first time. On the left here we have a player who has not played this format for the first time in a long time. Good old Texter bringing in Broxbox. Alright. So on the left is Texter playing Broxbox, and on the right we have one of our locals playing Lostbox. Alright, we see a start there, prizes go down. Lostbox player looking at their hand, trying to figure out what route to take. And you see that computer search in the Lostbox player's hand. In both the Unlimited and Eternal formats, the computer search from base set is a legal card. You actually are able to play that as a substitute for the A-Spec. You just have to play it as if it were the A-Spec. Alright, so now these players shuffling their hands, kind of observing what's going on. The Sableye start from the Lostbox player, not the best start. Pretty unfortunate. Kind of a handful of energy cards. Do have that research though to look for something to kind of hope and pray that they can make some sort of goodness out of this deck. Looking. See that Lapras? Lapras has the Pokemon power that allows it to find a supporter card in your deck, very reminiscent of current standard formats Luminion V. So this is a level ballable Pokemon, by the way. Very, very, very awesome effect. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the very first time that this effect has shown up in the Pokemon trading card game. So you see, that's interesting. Okay, so grabbing the Colress's Experiment with support navigation. Can't play it this turn because they went first. So just putting it in their hand for now and hoping that it will stick. And they pass. Alright, so Texter's turn. Texter playing support navigation Lapras. Super good staple in this format. Grabbing a Green's Exploration. Green's Exploration. A card that is on the red list for this format. A red list basically just means that the card is being observed and it is at high risk of being banned. Alright, we see Vulpix and a Ditto come down. So at this point, Green's Exploration is shut off. So even though this Green's Exploration has already been played, if this player wants to play another one, they will have to somehow get rid of Ditto or shut its ability off. Alright, going for another Brox Vulpix. I'm going to make sure that those Ninetails are going to be ready to go. Alright. Here we go. Darkness Energy being attached to that Brox Vulpix and a pass. So Oh, that is not a pass. That is an attack. Alright, a bit of a correction there. That is Hypnotic Gaze. That's why the Sableye is tilted. Tilted the wrong way. That's paralysis there, Mr. Player. But, yeah, it's asleep. Alright, so we see 2 cards going to the Lost Zone off of that Colossus Experiment. I see a Quick Ball come down, another Quick Ball come down. Really going heavy on those energies in the discard pile. Gonna see Jirachi, maybe? Kind of looking, weighing their options, maybe leaning toward the card they're a little more familiar with, going for that Gradient Greninja. Interesting to see. Going, okay, looking at Mew, looking at their options, right? Looking at the Jirachis, looking at the Mew. That's Bench Barrier Mew, if you're not familiar with it from Unbroken Bonds. That is the promo art, but that is the same effect. Just protecting the bench from any crazy shenanigans. So we see the 2 Quick Balls are going to be resolved as the Detour Jirachi from Rising Rivals and Unbroken Bonds Mew. Mew with Bench Barrier and Jirachi with Detour. So we see a Recycler. So all those energies are going to go back in the deck after being nuked. That's 4 energy already, turn 1 into the discard pile. That's craziness. Alrighty. Shuffle, shuffle. And all we can do is pass. Is anybody able to do anything else? Don't think so. Yep, just flipping for sleep. Tails, Sableye still asleep. Texter evolving a pair of Brox Ninetales into, Brox Vulpix into Brox Ninetales and getting an evolution Pokemon off of Evolution Incense, going for a Claydol. Claydol is a staple draw card in this format, an extremely potent Pokemon power, or Poke Power to be more precise. It allows you to put 2 cards from your hand, or up to 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and then draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. And that is a stackable effect. So if you have more than 1 Claydol, you can do that more than once. Texter now looking for something, getting an Archeops. Okay. Oh, looks like there was a second Evolution Incense that was played. I blinked. Alright, Claydol goes down, or the cards go down for Claydol. We're going to draw 4 off that Claydol. Drawing into some energy, not the greatest when you're an Archeops kind of box, but it is a thing you can do. Archeops a little bit up. So you're going to see the Archeops being attached to the Brox Ninetales. So Brox Ninetales has a very peculiar Pokemon power that allows it to kind of serve as like a, almost like a Ditto, right? You attach a Pokemon to that Ninetales and it kind of becomes that Pokemon. To read out the special effect that it has, it's called Shapeshift. It says, once during your turn before your attack, you may attach an evolution card from your hand to Brox Ninetales. This does not count as evolving Brox Ninetales. Treat Brox Ninetales as if it were that Pokemon instead. It can't evolve, devolve, or use the Pokemon power of that Pokemon. During a turn, you may discard the evolution card attached to Brox Ninetales. This power can't be used if Brox Ninetales is asleep, confused, or paralyzed. If Brox Ninetales becomes asleep, confused, or paralyzed, discard all evolution cards attached to it. So, Archeops does not have a Pokemon power. So, the ability is still useful when you have it attached to Brox Ninetales, which is what this deck does. It's how it abuses Brox Ninetales and Archeops to just go crazy with attachments, right? You just flood the board, get those Archeops in play as quickly as you can, and if for whatever reason you don't need Archeops anymore, you just discard it and attach a new evolution Pokemon, and that Ninetales becomes that new evolution Pokemon. It's pretty crazy. Pretty good stuff. Alright, so we do see the knockout on the Sableye there, those 3 Darkness energies being used to hit into that Sableye. Just powering up that Archeops. Alrighty. A little bit of a shuffle. Choosing to retreat that Jirachi and put support navigation in the active. Not seeing what they want to see. Interesting though that they didn't choose to use Detour. Did they? They did not. They did not use Colossus Experiment this turn, so they do not have that option. That is rough. All right. All right. So we see the those hands just taking another knockout, taking another prize card. Archeops is chewing through Lostbox right now. Lostbox really struggling to do what it wants to do. And a pass. Fortunately, this does not look good for Lostbox. Lostbox failing to set up this game. The Broxbox player just kind of weighing their options, seeing what they want to do while they torture Lostbox. Alright. See the use of a clay doll, putting those 2 cards on the bottom of the deck, drawing a card, using a luxury ball. Luxury ball, an excellent card in this format. Basically serves as a master ball. Search your deck for a card, so long as it's not a Pokemon level X. Alright, we see Buzzmosa come down. That's Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX. That is a tag team GX with an absolutely devastating GX attack. So Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX is used as a star attacker in this particular deck. Or I don't even know if that's quite right. It's like a finisher, but also not a finisher. So Beast Game GX does 50 damage. And it says if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take 1 more prize card. If this Pokemon has at least 7 extra energy attached to it, in addition to this attack's cost, take 3 more prize cards instead. So that Jirachi just got knocked out by Archeops. But you do see that the Broxbox player is prepping for that devastating play with Buzzmosa. Do see Lostbox player doing a deck search. Not quite sure how. Okay, off of the Wishing Star from Jirachi. That's what it is. The knockout allows him to search for a card. All right. That is Wishing Star, right? so many Jirachis, so little time. Let's see here. It is Final Wish. So his Final Wish says, once during your opponent's turn, if Jirachi would be knocked out by damage from an attack, you may search your deck for any 1 card and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck afterward. So just taking advantage of that option to get a little bit further along. Now we're going to promote the other Jirachi and draw a card. So Colossus Experiment going to go down. It does feel a little too late at this point, unfortunately, but Lostbox is drawing some cards. 2 cards in the Lost Zone is really painful this late into the game. Already down 3 prize cards, so it could be a bit of a rough one. Alright, we see 2 cards going into that Lost Zone. It's like a Versus Seeker and a Lost Vacuum. And that discard pile, trying to decide what the best course of action is here. Using Radiant Greninja's concealed cards to draw 2 cards. Kind of just drawing into energy. Not a whole lot of useful stuff at this point. Using Ordinary Rod to shuffle back in a Fighting Energy, a Sableye, and a Jirachi. And then we would go back to shuffle, 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 shuffle. I can speak, I swear. Alrighty. Are we going to see an attachment? I do wonder. I don't know what you'd really attach to. Maybe just attach to Greninja to kind of hope and pray. Maybe you can make a Shuriken play later on. Just going to copy Colossus Experiment with Detour, looking at the top 5 cards, and then choosing the Lost Zone too. Oh, jeez. Gonna go with the level pawn, the Lost City. Alright, level ball Lost City going to the Lost Zone. Alright, that's 6 cards in the Lost Zone for the Lostbox player, but it looks at this point Dexter is just like, you know what? It's time. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make this devastating play go. So you see 6 energies come down in the form of double colorless energy and a beast energy, which will further boost the damage of that Buzzmosa. So that is going to be a plus 30, so 80 damage, which is going to instantly KO that Jirachi. It only has 60 HP. And with that boost in prize cards taken, Texter is going to take this game. It's crazy too because that's extra prize cards, more extra prize cards than he needs to finish this off. But we are going to go ahead and get ready for game 2 as our players wrap up this game. Alright, now in round 2, a new version of Archeops Box faces off against an Eternal format version of Miraidon X. Now, Archeops Box in this case does not contain Brock's Ninetales and instead chooses to just go with the flow and evolve from the fossil. Miraidon takes advantage of the birds and uses a Pidgeotto Pidgeot engine featuring Pidgeotto from Team Up and a Pidgeot from Fire Red and Leaf Green. So you have Airmail to pull, look at a couple cards and put one on the bottom of your deck and one in your hand, and then you have Quick Search that just allows you to find a card in your deck every single turn that you have that Pidgeot available to you. It's extremely powerful, very interesting deck. We'll see, as you will see, rather, Archeops is just impressively overwhelming. Good old Pokemon shuffling card game. Players cutting. These are both local players. Player on the left here has played in Eternal format before. Not quite as much experience as Texter from the previous round, but definitely has played it before. Alright, you see a Guzzlord and a Miraidon start. Player on the left here immediately going for a Pidgey and dropping the Pidgeys and the Miraidon so they can fill out their bench. Getting a Mareep. This is Mareep with Fluffy Pillow from Lost Thunder. Gives you an option to put your opponent's Pokemon to sleep. Making a bit of a decision about that final slot on the bench. Choosing whether or not to fill it. And if to fill it, what to fill it with. Going for a third Pidgey. Very bold. I would have probably gone for a second Mareep myself, but that is not the choice the player made. Alright. Passing over to the player on the left. Player on the left immediately starting with Support Navigation and Green's Exploration. Green's Exploration, of course, getting 2 of any trainer card that they would have any sort of interest in. So long as they have no abilities in play, which they do not. Remember, a Pokemon Power and a Pokepower and a Pokebody. All 3 of those are not abilities, so they do not count toward Green's Exploration. So this player is choosing to get another Green's Exploration and a Pokemon Research Lab. Pokemon Research Lab basically lets you flip 2 coins and for each head to search your deck for a Pokemon that evolves from a mysterious fossil. I don't remember which fossil it is. Unidentified fossil. And then put that into play. So in this case, you are looking at Archeon. Archeon coming down and just being a menace. Bit of a correction there. There is no flip on Research Lab. I remember that incorrectly. There is no flip on Research Lab. So you just put 2 into play and then your turn ends. Alright. So drawing that top deck, getting that beautiful sheet, choosing to just bump the Research Lab, kind of a little too late at this point. Evolving 2 of the Pidgeys into Pidgeotto to start drawing through the deck with Airmail. It's like a choice between that is a Flaffy and a Lightning Energy. Probably go with the Flaffy. Well, they don't have any energy. Must not have any energy, so going for the energy instead. Using the other Airmail. Looks like a Recycler and a Level Ball. Going for the Level Ball. Alright. Maybe gonna get the Flaffy off the Level Ball? That would make some sense. Nope. Going for a third Pidgeotto. That also makes some sense. Drawing more cards. Getting that board set up as quickly as possible. There's that third Airmail, another Level Ball, and I think that was a Miraidon. Going for the Flaffy this time, surely. Alright. just going off that low ball, grabbing the Flappy. Yes, okay. Finally, Flappy comes out to play. What is the league promo version of Flappy too? See that whole shiny hollow effect. I love the league promos they've done. I do wish they were a little bit more accessible. Our league has tons and tons of players and does not have tons and tons of promo packs, unfortunately. I'm making a choice about what to play here. Choosing to manually attach a lightning energy to the benched Miraidon and passing over to the Archeops box player. Alright, looks like we're going to play the Greens Exploration? Question mark? Second guessing that play, it looks like. Yeah, they're going to go with Greens Exploration, search your deck for a couple of cards, maybe an Evolution Incense or two. Nope, going for a Stadium. And Luxury Ball? Nope, Luxury Ball and Evolution Incense. Tough decision to make. Does seem like a good combo, though. Alright. Checking the Archeops, making sure they are in the deck. Good thing to do. Don't want to be thrown off by that. Going for an Evolution Incense. Thinking that's pretty good. Digging through the deck one more time, making sure there's not another Evolution Incense in there. There is. Save that Luxury Ball for later. Alright. Yeah, going for... No. Very indecisive here. Alright. Going for this... Okay, you're going to fake me out one more time? Not? And a third? Alrighty. We'll see how this goes then. Luxury Ball coming down after all. No. Luxury Ball going to hand. Evolution Incense going to. Okay. Yes. Getting the Luxury Ball, putting it in hand, playing the Evolution Incense to get the Archeops. Archeops is now in play. And I'm going to use Archeops' ability to grab a couple energy. Going to attach them to Guzzlord. That's two Aurora energies. Aurora Energy just rotated out of standard format fairly recently, but if you are not familiar, it provides one of any kind of energy so long as you discard a card from your hand if you play it from your hand. Well, this player is not playing it from their hand, so they don't have to worry about that. They are going to attach two of these Auroras and a double colorless energy to Guzzlord, so they can make use of Red Banquet. Red Banquet is a pretty interesting attack, pretty potent attack at that. Let's go ahead and get that red real quick so we can kind of understand the play that the player is making here. So Red Banquet says if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take one more prize card. So it does 120 damage, which is not too shabby. And of course, because it's a dark type Pokemon, it can be boosted by things like Darkness Energy, and because it's a Ultra Beast, it can be boosted by Beast Energy. So lots of ways to boost the damage on Red Banquet. Alright, so going to keep digging on the Pidgeotto side here. Dig, hoping to find a little bit of something. It's worth noting that in this format, both Max Elixir and Electric Generator are banned. Unfortunately, they are way too searchable for this format to be balanced cards. They did have to go. However, if Green's Exploration does end up getting the axe, they may see a comeback. We will see. See a U-turn board on that active Miraidon. Attaching a couple energy, one from hand, one from discard to that benched Miraidon. Miraidon moving to the active spot. And that 120 damage on the benched Miraidon. Miraidon pretty hurt already, just 100 HP left. But that active Miraidon is taking the knockout against Guzzlord. So the Miraidon player will take a KO. With the player on the left here, the Archeops box player, behind on prize cards. This is something you want to be very concerned about when you have a Archeops box player or a Broxbox player, because they love to play with prize manipulation. They have tons of Ultra Beasts at their disposal. So you see the Luxury Ball come down. Luxury Ball is probably going to be searching up the Buzzmosa, if I had to guess. We'll see. Unless it's already in hand, that's a possibility. Do not see. I see Defiance Band, which is interesting, to say the least. We see. Quick search. There's the Buzzmosa. Buzzmosa is coming out. Buzzmosa going down as Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX. Once again with that devastating Beast Game GX. Alright, now we'd be just doing 50 damage. Taking an extra prize card for a knockout, but remember, it does get a pretty significant damage boost from a few different effects. So we will most definitely see some destruction here. Beast Game GX. Now, again, that plus 30 from Defiance Band, now doing 80 damage. If it's able to be powered up by these Archeops here. See a special charge go down, 2 energy going back into the deck, 2 special energy specifically going back into the deck with that special card. Special charge. You see Guzma come down, gonna gust up that bench Miraidon with 120 damage on it. That's not a good sign for the Miraidon player. That's when you really want to clench, because that Beast Game GX is going to mean that this Buzzwole Pheromosa will take 5 prize cards off of Miraidon, which is just game ending. That's devastating. And now we see Beast Energy coming down to top it all off. You're gonna see Beast Energy also coming down to further boost the damage of Beast Game GX. So you have the plus 30 from the Defiant Band, putting it up to 80, and another 30 from the Beast Energy, putting it up to 110. 110 going to put that Miraidon at 230 damage, and it's just going to knock it out. Knock it out, and the Archeops player will take 5 prize cards off of that Miraidon because of Beast Game GX. Beast Game GX, just a devastating attack against a damaged Pokemon like that. Now, Miraidon player does not have any really good options here for dealing with this particular situation. Choosing to play Electro Power to boost the damage. Photon Geyser? I can't remember the name of the attack. Why can I not remember the attack? It's Photon Blast, I think. I'm going to look. I'm cheating. It is Photon Blaster, so 220 damage plus that extra 30 is going to be a knockout on that Buzzwole and Pheromosa. So that will... Buzzwole and Pheromosa already has some damage on it from the Rainbow Energy. Placement of Rainbow Energy requires you to put a damage counter on it. So the 260 HP is going to come down to 250. So this is going to be a knockout for the Miraidon player. However, with that Buzzmosa going down, that is going to put them down to just 2 prize cards. And Buzzmosa player only needs to take 1 more prize. So it may be too little too late. That Buzzmosa KO is just too much. Playing a second Electro Power, not really sure why. There's no real reason to play that. I guess at this point, if you've decided you've lost, you just burn it for whatever reason. But, I mean, hang in there, maybe. Throwing it, getting Cape of Toughness off a quick search. Trying to make the Miraidon a little harder to KO. Or not. Maybe second guessing that decision. Making a different choice. No, something. I'm not sure what that choice was there. A Rockets admin. Okay, so it looks like it was a Rockets admin off of quick search. Going to just choose to disrupt the hand and hope that the Archeops box player doesn't have a way to deal with the admin. Admin to 1 could be pretty devastating if Archeops box doesn't have a way to deal with the knockout here. A lot of energies are already in play. There's the admin coming down. Players going to 1 and 5 cards in hand each based on their prize cards remaining. So we see a simple top deck for the player on the left here. Well, a top deck plus the card off of admin. So they'll have 2 cards to find game. Player on the left or on the right here with the Miraidon, hoping that this will be enough to slow down the Archeops deck to give them an extra turn to take that final prize card. see a floatstone, some search cards like a nest ball. Nothing especially devastating. I don't really think there's anything all that relevant here at this point. You just kind of take the knockout and cross your fingers. I do see a quick ball in Archeops Box's hand. That could lead to a Lapras, which could be a support navigation. And if that's a support navigation option, then that's GG's, because that's going to be a Guzma. And there are lots of squishy targets on the bench. Okay, you see that Lapras go to the active spot, choosing not to take a KO with Archeops. At least, maybe choosing to, actually. Because it could... They're discarding the top deck. Okay, discarding top deck with quick ball. They've got to be going for Lapras. If they've got there's Lapras. There's support navigation. They're just going to throw a Guzma on the Guzma, and then they can just power up the Archeops and KO the Pidgeotto, which only has 60 HP, and that's game. So just need 3 energy on that Archeops. 1, 2, and 3. Boom, and GG. All right, with that is round 2. Crazy round 2. It is time to start looking at round 3. All right, round 3 is Regigigas versus Miraidon. This Miraidon is a 59-card copy of the Miraidon we saw in the previous round. 1 card different. This one actually runs Lair Mountain Prism Star, which I do not believe the previous one did. Regigigas is a version of the deck that was legal prior to rotation, with some cards swapped out. Cards like Scuba Net removed because it's banned in this format. Just kind of made this a Eternal-ish version of Regigigas. Probably not an optimal version. This was done literally that morning to try to make it a functional deck for an Eternal format tournament. But all the same, an interesting, very interesting battle. All right, let's get these players shuffled up. Looks like we have a mulligan on the left here. Can I get that sorted out? There we go. A new hand of 7 cards. We're getting another mulligan. 1, 2, 3. Does not look like it. Alright, awesome. We are starting this game. This is round 3 of the Eternal format at Dragon's Lair at Alamo Ranch here in San Antonio, Texas. If you are in the area, do visit. It is a great store and a great place to play Pokemon. Alright. Alright, so we see the Pidgey start versus the Regigigas. Player choosing to throw that Pidgey out in the active spot first. Looks like the Regigigas player is going to go first. Attaching Capture Energy to the Regigigas in the active spot there. Searching their deck for one of the other Regis. This deck, if you're not familiar, basically you want to flood your board with all the Regis so that you can use Regigigas' Ancient Wisdom ability to accelerate energy cards, not even special energies, but energy cards from the discard pile into play. Alright. We are going to see, probably just a pass at this point. Can't really do much of anything else. Oh, no. Your turn 1 going first. You can't do that. Okay, good. This got stopped. This is them. Okay, they're figuring out how many cards it should be, and make sure they get the right number of cards going back into the player's hand, trying to avoid getting anything too messed up. Alright, Marnie cannot be played turn 1 because you can't play a supporter card turn 1 in the current format. Once that changes, then you're just stuck. Gonna unwind this. This is a friendly tournament, so I don't believe there was a penalty issued for this, although there probably should have been. Alright, gonna just unwind that. It's fixed. No damage to the game state. We're all good. Alright, so just a pass. Alright, Miraidon player getting a little bit set up here. Putting that Tapu Koko Prism Star down, getting another Pidgey down, using Tandem Unit to search the deck for 2 more Pokemon. I have to say probably Mareep. That seems the best course of action right now. Let's see what this player chooses. Going for a second Miraidon. I don't know what's with the Miraidon players and not wanting to put down their sheep. Look, guys, I know you don't want to count sheep, but it's time for a nap. Alrighty. Can I just jump in on this? Alrighty. looks like it's just a pass over to the Regi player. Alright, Regi player gonna probably play a supporter card for real this time? Let's see. Choosing to play the Marnie over the admin. Very interesting. Getting the 5 cards. Hands going to the bottom of the decks here. Seeing some cards they're not super familiar with. I see a Luxury Ball in the hand. Luxury Ball, of course, being just a search for a Pokemon that's not Pokemon level X. You see 2 of the Regis come down. You see we in Heavy Ball fishing out. Looks like one of the Regidragos. There's only duplicates in there. Looks like I think the other one was a Registeel. A little unfortunate there. And we are gonna see the Luxury Ball come down. Luxury Ball searching the deck for a Pokemon, except in the Pokemon level X. Dropping that Regirock down, just missing one of the Regis. It's in a Regice. Once we get Regice, we can use Ancient Wisdom. Although I don't believe there's any special energy in the discard pile, so that may straight up not matter. Do see a Muscle Band come down on that Regieleki and a pass. Alright, so no attack this turn, no energy acceleration this turn. We do see a double Level Ball, giving a Pidgeotto and probably another Pidgeotto if I had to guess. But we shall see. Player on the right here. Playing Miraidon does not really have much of a setup, just doesn't have any energy attached whatsoever. I'm not going to be attacking this turn unless I can get really set up off of a Koko and a Flaffy. It's possible. They could also draw into Thunder Mountain, so I guess it's not the end of the world. They could pull it off. But it's a little rough. Alright, a bit of shuffle up. I'm going to cut the deck. I'm going to draw off of Airmail. So you can see a Computer Search and a Cape of Toughness. I don't think that's a choice. I think you just go for the Computer Search. Yeah, Computer Search is just too dang strong. Oh, no. What just happened there? Why was the deck shuffled? The deck should not have been shuffled. I don't know why that happened. I think they might be discussing that right now. That's unfortunate. I wish I had caught that. Alright. Maybe I did catch that. I think I might be talking to them about it. I don't know. It's been like a month since we recorded this. So, unfortunately, I don't remember everything. It does look like we're discussing it, though, because there's no action just yet. Going to... So, with Airmail, you don't shuffle the deck, right? You look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You pick one of them, you put it in your hand, and you put the other one on the bottom of your deck. So you don't want to shuffle the deck, because that card that you put on the bottom of the deck should be a card on the bottom of the deck. It's supposed to be at the bottom. You shouldn't be able to draw back into it if you've shuffled, because if you've shuffled the deck, you'll have a chance of drawing back into it again. So that is an unfortunate situation here. I do wonder if there was a 2 prize penalty issued for this. I'm not sure. There should have been. Yeah, there was. There's the indications that this is me showing them, hey, 2 prize penalty, you only need to take 4 prizes. Alright, so unfortunate for the Miraidon player there. A little new to their deck, but it is what it is. Alright, they are going to play that Computer Search deck, so they're going to shuffle it for real this time. Get a Professor's Research. Good old Turo. Representing the Miraidon. Shuffle for real. Yeah, I cannot shuffle off of Airmail, guys. Just don't do that. That's a no-no. Unfortunately, there's not really a way to completely fix that shuffle either. All right. Second airmail coming in play. Hopefully coming in clutch. Research. It's like a crazy research. Jeez. Gonna see that Fluffy Evolve from the Mareep. And a pass. Drawing a Regigigas. Yep. Nope. Path Peak. And a pass. Oh no. Both players struggling a little bit here. Oh, Thunder Mountain comes down. That is interesting. Thunder Mountain Prism Star is a Prism Star Stadium from Lost Thunder. It says that Pokemon in play who have Lightning Pokemon in play have their attacks cost 1 energy less. Could be pretty insane for this particular fight, this battle, if you will. It does make Miraidon a little easier to power up for a turn, or at least until the Thunder Mountain is bumped, right? Because it's a stadium card, it's going to get bumped. The interesting thing about Prism Star Stadiums, though, is they can't be blowered away, right? You can't just hit them with Law's Vacuum. It's as if whenever any player plays an item or support card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to the stadium card. So you can't just blow them away. That's not something you can do. You can't hit them with Windstorm either. So it's good. Good stuff. Going hard on those airmails. A little unfortunate the Regigigas players struggling to find Regice at the moment. The deck runs so much search you'd think it would be fairly easy, but it turns out not necessarily. Alright, we see an energy attachment and a pass. We're going to see a Speed Lightning energy come down on that Regigigas. Still no sign of... Oh, there's Regice. Regice is coming out to play. Now we just need some special energy in the discard pile to accelerate. Path the Peak, bumping that Thunder Mountain Prism Star. Thunder Mountain does need to go to the Lost Zone. It's getting moved from that discard. Does not belong in the discard pile. Alright. Let's see. Searching the deck. Choosing to fail. Interesting. I think they just discarded the energy, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to get something in the discard pile to accelerate with. So Regigigas has, looks like it's got a twin energy and some other special energy attached to it. I think that's the capture from turn 1. It's got 3 energy on it. Does need 2 more. Double colors or twin will do the job. We're going to see a Marnie. Player giving a quick read of Marnie, make sure they remember how the card works. It's been a few weeks. Alright, so not going to be able to do anything, unfortunately. Using Ancient Wisdom to get a 4th energy on there and passing. So not quite enough energy to take a KO, but making progress. Alright, Miraidon, using those airmails, going hard, trying to find something, anything to make this work. Finding that Professor's Letter. Professor's Letter is pretty good. Will allow the player to search the deck for 2 basic energy cards. That's 2 lightning energy in this case. If they choose to play it. Which maybe they will. I am a little upset that the player that played Miraidon did not play Thunder Mountain at an opportune time. Opportune time, they kind of just threw it down. No real reason to have thrown it down at that. Kind of wasted it. Didn't get an attack off with it. But we do see the 2 lightning energy coming off of that Professor's Letter. Going to be helpful if they can find a way to discard it. I do think they probably have a Research in hand, or maybe an Ultra Ball. Manual attachment on the Pidgeotto. That's fine. I think that's a Research. I see a Research in the discard pile and I just drew a bunch of cards, so I'm crossing my fingers that's a Research. we are going to see Dance of the Ancients, it looks like. So, Dance of the Ancients allows you to take up to 2 lightning energy from your discard pile and attach to your bench Pokemon. So 1 and 1. So 1 energy to one energy to another. So, yep, that is definitely a Dance of the Ancients. Tapu Koko Prism Star will go to the Lost Zone after having used that ability. They should not have used that ability, though, and I'm seeing this now because Tapu Koko Prism Star is a Rulebox Pokemon, and Path of Peak is in play, which means they should not have been able to use Dance of the Ancients. That is unfortunate. I think it got pulled aside for another ruling during this, and this got missed, which is very unfortunate. That should not have been able to be done. So, Pokemon Prism Star, like Tapu Koko Prism Star, they are Rulebox Pokemon. This means that Path of Peak does shut their abilities off. So, unfortunately, that is another gameplay error on the part of the Miraidon player. If I'm not mistaken, the Regigigas player does take this game. I will say, for the record, both these players are fairly new players. They're both fairly inexperienced, and they just kind of wanted to jump in and have some fun with these decks in the Eternal format. So cut them some slack. This is a for fun tournament, and they are not in the finals. A little bit of a spoiler. They are not the ones that are potentially taking the champion title here. We are going to see a Rockets admin from Regigigas. Simple players will shove their hands in their deck and then draw cards based on how many prize cards they have remaining. So both players will draw 6 prize cards. Neither player has taken a prize card just yet. A little surprising considering this game's already gone on for quite some time, and lots of back and forth, lots of passing back and forth. Not a whole lot of setup. I do believe, though, we have enough energy on that Regigigas to actually do an attack this turn. So that Pidgeotto, that's a dead bird. It's a real dead bird. That's going to do some overkill. Ultra Ball, kind of a not terrible hand, but I mean, you'd like to see some special energy discard, but I guess you have enough at this point. Ordinary Rod, discarding that, grabbing another Ordinary Rod. Oh, what a trekking shoes. Fantastic. I think that at this point you just attack. That's really all you're able to do. Just attack. Take the KO, take the knockout on the Pidgeotto, and then move the game forward. Taking a prize card from the top there just to kind of avoid the markers, but however. Alright, so Miraidon player's turn again. Going to grab a basic energy with the Dynamotor effect on Flaffy, choosing to Field Blower. Looks like the Air Balloon on the Path of Peak. Yep, both of those gone. And an escape rope. Okay, so where do they switch? There's an escape rope. All right, so escape rope was played. Both players switch their Pokemon. You see a Floatstone on the active Miraidon, so they can switch out, and then a deck search with Quick Search Pidgeot. Going to find a Versus Seeker. Very, very good card. Actually, would really like to see it in Standard again here soon. Maybe we'll get lucky and get it in Obsidian Flames. Doubt it, but we'll see. It would spice up what's looking like it's going to be a rather boring set. So I should say a boring for players set. So what we've seen so far is pretty underwhelming. Not quite on the level of 151, but yeah. This feels like they're playing it safe. They're going to bring out the big guns in November, though. Just you wait. All right, we see a Little Ball come down. Probably another Pidgeotto to evolve that benched Pidgey. Or not. Okay, I'm not sure why the Little Ball's there then. Maybe it's just a random search. Alright, anyway. Regigigas player does need a new Regice does not need a Regice. That is a-okay. Regice is a thing they already have accessible. I'm going to drop the boss's orders, switching out the Miraidon for the Quick Search Pidgeot. I'm going to say, no, I don't want you to have that potent ability. Well, Pokemon power. But I don't want you to have it because that's too powerful. So bye-bye. Taking it away, taking that knockout, going down to 4 prize cards. One needs 2 more prize cards to win this. Did receive the benefit of a double prize penalty earlier. Probably would have had just a game win earlier with the usage of Tapu Koko under Path, but it is what it is. Alright, do you see the Regigigas get knocked out there? That is a little unfortunate for our player here, but I think we got this. So we're going to see the Ordinary Rod come down, Regigigas and the Regice both going back into the deck for sure, getting them available for pulling them back into play when they're needed. Alright, we see Quick Ball, grabbing that Regigigas, getting it back into play, making that Ancient Wisdom available again. All the Regis are doing their little dance. Alright, putting the Capture Energy, Twin Energy, and another Energy on that Regigigas. I think this is 4 total energy. Not quite enough to attack, unless I'm mistaken, and there is a second Twin Energy on there. It's possible. Actually, that might be a Twin Energy. I can't quite tell. Alright, we see some energies off of that research. Alright. I'll choose to switch. Switching that Regigigas back to active. So he must have a double twin on there. I think that's a twin and a capture. If that's the case, then there is enough energy to attack. Yeah, doing the 150 with Regigigas' Gigaton Break. So that's good. Getting some damage in. Not quite a knockout, but you know what? It's better than nothing. Miraidon coming back from the active, or being in the active spot rather. Don't know if it's going to be retreated out. This do need to switch because that Miraidon did attack last turn. Putting an energy on the bench Miraidon, playing an escape rope. Switching it out. Putting... What is he doing? He doesn't have enough energy to attack. Huh? Surely he has a switch in hand? Nope, just passing. Just stalling it out and hoping this works. I'm sorry, but I don't think you got it. I'm gonna play Speed Lightning on the Regigigas. Finding Scoop Up Cyclone. Alright. Looking at their discard pile, seeing what energies are available to them right now. Just see the one. Using Ancient Wisdom to attach Gift to the active Drago is a play for sure. And then Scoop Up Cycloning it back to their hand. Okay, sure. That's something. Gonna take the KO with this Regigigas, I think. Right? So we got 2 energy attached. Should be enough. I'm not sure. I'm going to trust that they have enough energy. Actually, I think they might have used the first attack. I don't even think they need the second one. Because if I'm not mistaken, that Pidgey actually does have a weakness to electric types. First attack is Static Shock for 20. And that Pidgey, I'm not sure. I think it just has 40 HP. Let's see. Yeah, it just has 40 HP, so that is just going to be a KO. And that is probably the game. Did you see a return knockout there? Regigigas goes down, but at this point, any knockout is game for the Regigigas player. We see the Regirock go to the active spot. That makes me think there's a Guzma here available. That's interesting. Let's see. Trekking shoes. That's fascinating. Discarded a Regigigas to get a Regigigas. Okay. Attaching a Aurora Energy, discarding a Gift Energy with the Aurora Energy. And then going to grab... No, I'm just going to play down the other Regigigas and then throw down a Marnie. Interesting. I guess they don't have it in to get the attack this turn? Or maybe they just... Oh, they're going to go for the KO with the Regirock. That makes a lot more sense. Because they've got a bunch of... That's right. They discarded a bunch of energy with the knockout. So, they just need another rainbow and a colorless energy to take the KO, I think. So, Regirock... Going to be doing 140 damage with Giga Impacts. But weakness is going to bring it up to 280. 280. Not enough. Alright. Looks like there was a pass there. I'm going to switch in the Regigigas, Retreat, and KO. Unfortunately, the whiffing of the energy does sting a little there. But we do see that extra energy come down. That's game. Alright, so the double rainbow, or well, the double aurora in this case, make it happen. And now it's time for the finals, where Archeops takes on Archeops. Archeops box using the Fossil Evolution versus Archeops using the Brox Ninetales for its devastation. Either way, there's an Archeops finals here. I think this finals and really the whole tournament is a pretty good illustration to why Archeops and in fact Brox Ninetales decided why they went the way they did after this tournament. They are a little too powerful. They've been on the red list for a while, and this tournament definitely helped push them off of the red list and into the ban list. So we shall wish them goodbye with this final game. All right, let the games begin. We see a Baltoy start versus a Guzzlord start. Two interesting cards to start with, that's for certain. Not ideal starters for either player, but it is what it is. Baltoy is nice to see, though. Does mean you have a shot at getting a Claydol out fairly early. It's like it's going to be a pass. All right, so we see Green's Exploration from the Broxbox player for, I have to imagine, double Battle VIP. Yeah, double Battle VIP coming down, dropping some cards down. We see Vulpix, and Ditto. So just playing those cards, getting them out there. And a pass. So they have cards down, but they're not able to do much of anything else. That's fine. Passing their opponent. We do see support navigation from the Archeops box player. Probably finding a Green's Exploration if I had to guess. Yep, there's the Green's Exploration. And this is why it's on the red list. You see a Research Lab and a Green's Exploration. So going to make sure that there is a chain of these Green's Explorations. There's a Research Lab. Gonna go ahead and play the Research Lab to get a couple of Arcane out and just end their turn. Reminder, don't be like me, don't misremember the card. There are no coin flips involved. It's just search for 2 and your turn ends. Alright, so now we get a couple of Brox Ninetales down. Looks like one of those off of a level ball and the other from hand. Claydol is in play on that benched Ditto, so Ditto is now devoid of an ability, which is good. Play Cosmic Power, putting 2 cards on the bottom of the deck there to draw 4. Playing an Archeops, attaching it to that Ninetales. So that Ninetales is now an Archeops, effectively. Trying to make some decisions with the rest of their hand. Broxbox player, kind of in an unfortunate situation. Has an Archeops in play, has nothing in play that they want to attach the energy to. On computer search, discarding a Zelf and a Yveltal. Interesting. Yveltal really good against multi-prizers, but Archeops box is not really that keen on multi-prizers unless it has to put them in play like Buzzwole and Pheromosa. Discarding that Yveltal, getting Red Banquet Buzzwole, getting Red Banquet Guzzlord out, choosing to attach a Darkness Energy. This is a special Darkness Energy from the Heart Gold and Soul Silver era, and another energy from the deck. Observing the cards in the deck there, seeing what the options are. You see another Darkness Energy coming down on that Guzzlord, getting that Red Banquet fully powered up with the double Darkness and double colorless attachments. So a simple switch in will make this an attack that will actually do some damage. All right. See Green's Exploration. Keep in mind, Green's Exploration is live because Ditto is no longer a Ditto, it's a Claydol, so there are no abilities in play. Going to see an Evolution Incense and a Floatstone. Floatstone absolutely going on that Baltoy, and Evolution Incense probably going for, going for, maybe? Choosing Claydol. Okay, that makes more sense in my opinion. Draw some more cards. Drawing cards is good. You can always draw into their Ninetales, you don't really need another Ninetales at the moment. You already have an attacker powered up. Get the other Ninetales later. Using Cosmic Power and getting another Archeops. Sorry, getting an Archeops. Moving Archeops? I'm not sure how it happened there. Hitting into the other Guzzlord with Red Banquet for, I think, 140. Just making some plays here. Yeah, 140 not quite enough to knock that Guzzlord out. Just have 160 HP, so unfortunate. Does it pass into him? No. Gotta have some way to do things. Did you see Evolution Incense? And a Quick Ball. So Quick Ball discarding Evolution Incense, interestingly enough. I gotta wonder what they're searching the deck for. I'll have a Quick Ball no less. I'm making. Are they going for the Buzzwole play already? That seems premature. And again, it is a threat. It's a huge threat. Putting that down is a. It's like a. Okay. Searching the deck really thoroughly for something. I can show all the combo pieces in there, I think. You're going, alright, I have this idea. I think I can make this play. Let's see if I can make this play. Going ahead and getting the Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX down. Alright. Getting it out of the deck, maybe, and not actually down? Yeah. Alright. Does have Archeops in hand. Looks like 2 Archeops are in hand already. Alright. We see a Warp Point come down. Warp Point, exactly the same effect as Escape Rope. So both players are made to switch their Pokemon. See an active Arcan and an active Broxbox. Accidentally revealing that he has the Archeops. Choosing to play Green's Exploration before that Archeops goes down. Looks like want to make sure he is able to get all the cards he wants before putting an ability into play. Yep. Green's Exploration comes down, searching the deck for 2 cards, 2 trainer cards specifically, 2 of any trainer card to make this a little bit easier, to get themselves set up, get things in play, make things happen. So both players have 6 prize cards. Cards like Defiant Band right now are not live. Do have to wonder what the Archeops box player is looking for. I do have to think with that Buzzwole and Pheromosa that they picked up earlier, surely they're thinking about setting that up for a good big KO. Getting a Guzma for next turn. And getting a Luxury Ball. Maybe. Yeah, getting a Luxury Ball. Deciding to settle on the Luxury Ball on the Guzma. Saying, you know what? That seems good. We'll go with that. I'll play down the Archeops. The Archeops, rather. Putting down another Guzzlord with Red Banquet, making sure that that's available as an attacker. Using Primal Turbo to search the deck for some special energy cards. A double Rainbow and a double Colorless. So double Rainbow Energy in this case. 2 Rainbow Energies, not a double Rainbow Energy because that is also a card. And the double Colorless is going to fill the necessary attack cost for... There we go. There's Red Banquet. I'm going to take a couple of prize cards with Red Banquet. It's going to do just enough damage to give up that extra prize card with the Ninetales. So Red Banquet does 120 damage, and then if you take a KO with that attack, you get an extra prize card off of it. Pretty potent against squishy single prizers like Broxbox, for example. Broxbox are both, they both now have, a Box of Ninetales rather, they both have an Archeops attached to them. It's like a special charge being put on the bottom of the deck with another card, drawing some more cards, trying to find that Wombo combo to make things happen. And a Mr. Mime coming down. Making an interesting play there. Deciding, you know what, I don't want you to nuke my bench. So Mr. Mime with Bench Bear is going to go down right now. Alright, Red Banquet is coming to the active spot. So he's just going to hit into the active Guzzlord again, only doing 140 damage. That 120 is boosted by the Darkness Energy. Buzzmospa is now coming down. So this is a clinch moment. Yeah, this is going to be game. Because, yeah, that's all the energy necessary right there. So all we need at this point, I believe, is a Defiance Band. Right, because I see Defiance Band in the hand. Yeah. Oh, going for the Guzma. Doesn't even need a Defiance Band against Guzma. Yeah, that's just a game. Mr. Mime going down, nice and squishy. Although, to be fair, all the Pokemon on the bench were pretty squishy. Archeops, I think, had the highest HP there. It is the newest Pokemon. It's by far the newest, actually. It's Silver Tempest. A lot of this stuff is not really that new. It's like the Broxbox player choosing to burn some time here by pile shuffling. Pile shuffling, of course, is another name for wasting time. But there we have it. So for the record, pile shuffling, and I use shuffling in very air quotes there, is not considered a shuffle in Pokemon. So if you are pile air quotes shuffling, you do have to find another way to randomize your deck to make it sufficiently randomized per Pokemon's rules. Pokemon's rules, you have two different ways of legally randomizing your deck. That is the Riffle Shuffle, which is what a lot of players will use to shuffle their decks. That's the same kind of shuffle you see, like you see in the casinos, right, with regular face cards. And then there is the Mash Shuffle, which you can do, especially if you have sleeves on your card, where you just kind of put an edge to edge and then kind of blend them together by mashing the halves or thirds or whatever pieces of the deck you're using. Those are both valid shuffles. Basically any other kind of shuffle is not legal. It's not considered a shuffle. It's fine to use to help you feel like you're randomizing your deck, but ultimately you need to actually randomize your deck with a proper shuffle. Alright, we do see a Battle VIP pass down, and we see a double Brox Vulpix with that Battle VIP pass. See a Rainbow Energy coming down on the Baltoy, and no damage counter on it for some reason. Huh. There should be a damage counter on that Baltoy. Hopefully it's not relevant, but there definitely should be a damage counter on that Baltoy, because that is a Rainbow Energy. We do see a Quick Ball, discarding an Arcan, searching for a Lapras, going for support navigation to get Green's Exploration. Surely. Green's Exploration, playing the Green's Exploration. If I had to guess, they're probably going to play the Green's Exploration, get a Green's Exploration, and a Stadium card. Getting a Stadium card, using the Stadium card to pull out to Arcan from the deck. Is that going to be the case? Let's see. Do I have Future Sight? Yep. I'm a magician, everybody. I got this. It's almost like this deck is pretty straightforward. It does have a little bit of a wombo combo in it, but the strategy is definitely very straightforward. Get your combo pieces into play and just go ham. Alright, we do see the Stadium come down. We're going to see a couple of Arcan come down to prepare for the Archeops. There's one. There's the other. Alright, so Broxbox is playing a Green's Exploration themselves, getting a Level Ball, getting an Evolution Incense, getting them in play, playing them, searching the deck, I have to imagine, for a Ninetales and a Claydol? Feels like that's the best choices. Yep, exactly as I suspected. Getting the Claydol to evolve the active Baltoy to get drawing some cards, and then evolving one of the bench Vulpix into a Ninetales, not just to increase its HP, but also make it possible to attach an Archeops to it to make it possible to get some Energy Acceleration. Energy Acceleration is the name of the game for both of these decks, and Archeops is the best buddy for both of these decks. Alright. You do see a double colors come down on that Buzzwole. Archeops being attached to that Brox Ninetales. I keep trying to say Alolan Ninetales. It is not Alolan Ninetales. It is Brox Ninetales. We are going to see the Archeops attach some energy from the deck. See a Beast Energy come down and a double colorless. Good attachment there. That's 5 energy on that Buzzmosa. Buzzmosa does have 2 attacks, so you need to be aware of both. Player may not choose to use Beast Game GX this turn. Do have a lot of energy on that Buzzmosa to not use it, though. That is a lot of energy. I think they're just going to go for it and take the 4 prize cards. Computer searching. They found a card in the deck. Putting down that bench barrier, Mr. Mime. Showing that they have all the fancy energies to use Beast Game GX. And then they're going to fill up their GX marker. Maybe? Yeah. Maybe. Failing to flip the GX marker. There we go. Alright. GX marker flipped. Top prize is taken. We're all good. Alright, 2 prize cards down versus 5, it looks like. Do you see Yveltal come into play? Yveltal probably going to grab a double Evolution Incense. Get a way to get these Archeops into play. Choosing instead to get teammates. Interesting. Alright, playing an Evolution Incense, grabbing an Archeops for sure. Yes, grabbing an Archeops, playing that down, probably evolving the active, but could go to the bench too. Going to the bench, okay. And then evolving the active with the one in the hand. That's fine, whatever. Using Primal Turbo to accelerate some energies to the Yveltal. We see a double colorless and an Aurora, another Aurora, and another Aurora. So that's 3 Auroras and double colorless. It's exactly enough to power up Amazing Destruction on the Yveltal. So it looks like the player here is going to go for a KO on that Buzzmosa. And boom. Do think there was supposed to be a discarding of energy there. Yeah, Archeops should have discarded that rainbow energy. I'm not sure why that didn't happen. The damage kind of went on there, but the discard did not happen. That's a little upsetting there. Interesting little inclusion there of transparent walls in the Archeops box player's hand. So Yveltal just taking a 1 shot there. Pretty devastating. Probably going to get 1 shot back is the trade. That's okay. I think the Archeops, either player really at this point just needs a KO with Red Banquet. So if either of them can get a Guzzlord out this turn with Red Banquet, they kind of just win if they can get it powered up. Okay, 3 cards going back. Or being discarded, rather. Always confusing to have the discard pile above the deck. You should be playing the other way around. Do you see the Red Banquet? So we got a Guzzlord, but can we power it up? That's the big question. Can we power up the Red Banquet? See that player not benching the Red Banquet. Kind of going, it's a threat, but I don't you have it. Question is, can it happen? Is there enough energy left in the deck for Red Banquet to be a viable possibility at the moment? The thing about Clay Doll is you can put any energy in your hand at the bottom of your deck and use it through Archeops. So that is a choice that can be made. So we see a Darkness Energy and a Rainbow Energy come down on Mr. Mime. Looks like Mr. Mime is going to be the MVP right now. I know. That is certainly a play. So using Cybolt on Mr. Mime. Says flip a coin if heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. It was successful. There was paralysis. See the Luxury Ball come down. And at this point, I feel like there's the obvious choice. Just go to town. Is there enough energy in the deck? Guzzlord? Guzzlord gonna do the trick? Guzzlord will definitely do the trick. You just have to have enough energy to do it. Alright. Using Warp Point to switch. So forcing a switch with Warp Point. Again, Warp Point is Escape Rope, same effect. Primal Turbo. Attaching a double colorless to the active Guzzlord and a rainbow to the active Guzzlord. So that's 3 of the 4 energy necessary. And then attaching Beast Energy for game. Yeah, that is the craziness right there. So Archeops going down, at Beast Energy making the difference in the knockout. Archeops only has 150 HP. 150. So that's exact math there. 120 and 150. Going down to 1 prize card, I think. Player on the left had 3 left. Is that correct, maybe? I blinked and missed it. Alright. Beast Energy going back to the Lost Zone where it belongs. See a Guzzlord coming down on the other side. A Guzma coming down for that Lapras. Lapras going to be a KO here for the Broxbox player, but this may just be too little too late if there's not enough energy to take the extra prize card. Can it happen? There's the energy. Just need a Darkness Energy, a Rainbow Energy, or an Aurora Energy. Any of those energies will work. Stadium going away, double level ball, searching the deck to see if it's possible. Making absolutely certain that they have it in the deck. Getting a Clay Doll. Putting a ball toy down, putting that ball toy into the hand. Or putting that Clay Doll in the hand. Not the discard pile. That is not where it went. Gonna just pass, and that is game, unfortunately. Veltal coming back in, taking another KO. And that's the series. That's the whole tournament. So, Archeops Box taking the win there. And yeah, Archeops Box takes it. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this little tournament. Do keep an eye on my Twitter. I will have the deck lists up there here in the next couple days. Yeah, and if you are in the San Antonio area and you've just watched this and thought, hey, this is pretty cool, tomorrow, as of this going live, that's going to be the 17th, of June 2023 at noon at Dragon's Den Alamo Ranch. There will be another tournament in the Paldea Evolved format for the Eternal format. We are jumping ahead to get out of the Archeops dominated format that was Scarlet and Violet base set, and we are moving forward to Paldea Evolved. That said, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.